Ready?
Phone
ready.
Dwellers?
Yep. Phone dwellers.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 190 of the GeekVerse podcast. It is the kickoff to E3 2018. I am the cleaner. I am Slab the Killer. Travis Snell. Huge shout out to Kenny Omega last night winning the IWGP Championship for the first time in Tokyo. Huge. I'm very excited. He's my favorite wrestler in the world. It's a great night to be a wrestling fan. Fantastic match. Wrestled for over an hour.
Wow.
It was crazy.
That takes endurance.
It does.
Just to watch takes endurance.
Just to watch alone on the eyes.
Great event.
I am Willie the Kid. Dylan Musk.
I am the Clown Prince of Pot. Just kidding.
You just said Clown Prince of Pachos for a second. Like, you can have that one.
The Clown Prince of Pachos. I am the disappointed Curtain Patzer.
Oh.
Lays it all out.
Showing his cards.
Yeah.
I am the anthemized Taylor Field.
Oh.
The Anthemized. I like it.
Like you have your eyes on Anthem or like. Okay.
Like Snake Eyes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time tuning in to E3, we kind of do, our E3, we kind of do similar to movie review. We'll give a quick overall what we thought of the conference, and then we'll break down game by game, give our opinions here and there, and then at the end we'll give a rating out of 5. 5's perfect, the best, 4 is like a really good, 3's an average, 2's bad, and 1's you're doing something wrong.
Aye.
Yeah, so Dylan, you want to start with, what do you think about EA's conference, kicking off E3?
Yeah, so
hot and heavy?
I have to say,
Question mark?
not so hot, not so heavy. Just if you look at the conference as like a presentation that they're showing off, we always talk about that as well. What was that sound?
Just checking stuff.
A little bit disappointing. Like pacing wasn't so great, but I mean the big problem here is that they didn't really show any games. Like I like this. They gave like a nice spotlight to Anthem at the end, which I liked. I liked that they had like devs, and then they also had gameplay, and they just had some cinematic stuff and some conceptual stuff.
QA
So yeah, they really went full out on that. But other than Anthem, kind of disappointing. I mean, I'm never really stoked by sports games, so seeing those always just kind of passes me by. It wasn't like because they didn't really have any skits like they've done before, and so I'm glad they didn't do those because there wasn't really any cringy moments.
Men in Blazers.
The host there, hostess,
Andrea Renee.
Yeah, so I thought she did a really good job.
Yeah, I liked her.
And I think they should keep her around, and maybe she could help them out next year and do that again. Yeah. And so I mean, they kind of had like a focus where games. You can play them today. They had like 3 or 4 things that are out. You can play them today.
That's
so
pretty cool.
Yarny 2.
Yeah. So I mean, these games don't look excellent, but I mean, they're still. You can go and play them today if you're waiting around for tomorrow's conferences and stuff. So overall, yeah, as Kirkland's name would describe, a little disappointed, but I mean. Honestly, my only expectation, and I just thought of it this morning, was Skate 4. I was like, man, if they show Skate 4, I'm going to pop off. So I think I kind of set my bar really high like this morning all of a sudden, but... So no Skate 4, very disappointed in that.
Oh, absolutely. I don't know, I'll just take it. I feel like I'm like the most pro EA because I'm just a big sports fan.
Yeah.
Overall though, I felt like this conference was definitely lackluster. I felt like it was stretched out because they just had an hour conference and they just didn't have enough content to take that up. Like, they took way too much time on that mobile game. And I feel like, I don't know, like for a mobile game, like you don't even need to be on the big stage for that. Like, I don't know. Like
it definitely doesn't need like a big segment.
Oh, exactly. Like, I agree with what you're saying though. Like the like they're out today kind of announcements. Those were pretty cool to have actually. And then the Anthem highlight, that was a good way to end it off. That was definitely their strongest point of the conference. Unfortunately, I showed up a little bit late, so I missed the early points. But
you didn't miss much.
Yeah, exactly. Like
FIFA.
I don't know. And then just like the whole like EA conference in general, I feel like every year we're just expecting these, they come out every single year like FIFA, Madden, and then they keep showing off that esports Madden. I don't know if it's big like somewhere else, but like for us personally,
we don't hear about it.
Exactly.
I don't even follow esports. And I never hear of it.
Exactly. So I don't know, just overall disappointed. The high point was Anthem, but like they have an hour-long conference and then they have like 10 minutes on Anthem, which doesn't bring it that high up. I feel like EA kind of needs to, it's kind of a big like ask for them, but I feel like they need to come out with some of these like bigger like AAA title games that are not like attached to sports titles, you know? Just I don't know.
Broaden their horizons.
Yeah, exactly.
A little more diversity.
I feel like everyone just sees them as, okay, EA is just gonna constantly coming out with these sports games every year, and it's
and you always know that
new.
that's going to be like
Exactly.
the majority of the conference.
Exactly.
Or
and
half the conference.
And then like I want something mind blowing like Skate 4 or something, like something that people are asking for. Because like if you like look around for the community, like everyone's asking for that game.
Yeah.
So like they could definitely do it, and it would be a super high point of the conference and everything.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
overall, disappointed. I'll pass along from there.
Hey.
You know, I feel like that's a conference I didn't need to watch. I would go back and watch maybe some of the highlights and like YouTube like teasers.
Like the
and stuff
Anthem
like that.
segment, you know?
Yeah, like the Anthem segment. But like the rest of it, I did not need to watch the whole thing. I mean, obviously I will because I'm with you guys and GeekVerse, but it was just very boring. It was nothing was doing it for me, and I don't know, it was very stagnant. But I mean, I loved when they started talking about Star Wars Battlefront, and I think that was fantastic. That's huge news, like for us fans. I love the multiplayer sessions and all that stuff. It's great, but other than that, I'm very disappointed how they dropped, another brand new Star Wars IP title just casually like that. Not even on stage, just in the crowd. It was so poorly done.
I feel like they didn't even need to talk about it because
No.
it's so far away. They like barely could work out the title because the guy probably just worked out in his head like we were talking about.
I mean, if you look at it with Anthem coming out roughly around the same, like a month later after this game is supposed to come out, isn't that right? No, February 2019. I got the dates confused.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
they're
there
saying
you go.
Star Wars hopefully will be holiday 2019.
Holiday 2019.
So that's
yeah,
like
okay. So another
that's like
year later.
2020 basically.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
they didn't need to bring it up. Period. But since they did, they just did it completely in a shoddy way, and it was
Yeah.
it was so stupid. And that's very upsetting, because everyone has a bad taste in their mouth from Star Wars Battlefront. We're waiting for a new Star Wars
in general
IP.
maybe right now.
I
so.
mean, we're waiting for we're waiting for something good, and this was something that would have been huge, and it was just so underhyped, and that's really really upsetting, and it did not help the conference at all. And as it progressed, it just kind of got worse and worse, and then, I mean, I love seeing indie games brought up on at these conferences. I think that's good, like huge and good for them. But then with the mobile games, no, absolutely not. Do a little mention, throw it into a reel, but that whole session of them showing the gameplay of these two people on their
They're treating
phones
it like
playing
an
it.
esports sort
They're
of
treating
thing,
it like
you know?
esports.
It's
Like, no,
Very
don't
weird.
do that. That's show just that cinematic that we got for it, and then just quickly drop the title, Command and Conquer Rivals. That's fine, and then move along. I'm very disappointed. I'm glad they ended the way they did with Anthem, because that really it really boosted my kind of excitement up a bit, but it did nothing to save the conference as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
There was just, I mean, what time is it now? It's was like a good hour and a half.
About an hour and a half, yeah. Give or
Yeah,
take.
Really?
that was a
Holy shit.
really long hour and a half. I was not.
It was an hour for me, and it felt long, so.
I don't know. If this is the way that E3 has started, I feel like, I mean, we can only go up from here, but that might be a very bold claim.
Stranger things have happened, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Hey.
You all done, sir? Well, we don't do plugs for E3, but I do got a plug at the end of this podcast. We're going to reveal the first match in our esports gaming league for the ladder match that's happening sometime in August. That is to determine the main event of the Geek Mania. So every podcast we're going to do random, and we're going to see what games are being picked. I'll get into the details in the future. This conference. Yeah, it's kind of, they've already said everything I would need to say. If I wasn't doing this podcast, I would need to watch this. Everything was kind of bungled. It's not even like one of like the worst conferences ever as far as like, oh, it was cringeworthy. This, that. There's some cringy stuff, but it was just bland and boring, and there's nothing I didn't really already know, and nothing, I didn't have the same thing as Taylor. I didn't have like the Anthem, which we'll get into. I didn't fall in love with it or anything, so I didn't have any high points. I was hoping Stars would at least be that high point, and yeah, they really, obviously we'll talk about that minorly, but they really dropped the ball there. It felt like, to me, they'll probably do it again next year, but this felt like, hey, they could stop doing a press conference and it'd be fine. They can just...
Which is kind of weird to think of, honestly, because like if you look back, I feel like EA has always been like a big title in like the gaming world, so
Yeah.
it's kind of sad that we're getting to that point that like they don't need a full conference.
No, like they could just say, hey, we're going to do a video of like a 20-minute sit-down with the Anthem developers. Put out that Anthem video, put out the sit-down, things like that. Like do almost what Nintendo did a few years ago where maybe not a full hour of Anthem, but they're like, hey, we're just doing Breath of the Wild and this is all we're showing.
Mm-hmm.
That to me was like, Nintendo shouldn't do that, but maybe EA should. I guess they got to promote all their sports games, but I guess it's just because you don't get any hyper excited moments because you know what to expect, right? Like that's what we're talking about off cast. Kirkland was late and Taylor was like FIFA 19 announced. Like you don't need to put that in the chat because it's like we just know that. It's like it's like everyone gives shit about PlayStation. Like they already told us what's at E3, but like EA, they don't even have to tell us, so we know what's gonna happen. And the show overall, the host was really good. I like her from other stuff, but I think she did a good job. Pacing, things could have been cut down quite a bit. They already talked about the mobile stuff, but just a lot of stuff in general. Other than Anthem, I think even I didn't love the stuff in Anthem. Like I thought that was well paced as far as it was like a teaser. They talked to the devs. That wasn't too long, and then they showed some gameplay. And I think
nobody on stage playing. So.
Yeah, I think that was the right amount. So hopefully it's all up from here. But I wasn't expecting much from EA, so it's not like I'm disappointed. It's just like it's a pain to sit through, and it's always these are the days, the same as last year. I always wish there was another conference on Saturday because it's tough to be like, oh, this is the way you kick off E3, and it's like
E3 is technically started. It doesn't really feel like it.
No, it's just like it's just such a thud, and it's like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. And, like, going into EA, you feel like, oh, it's just gonna be like pretty lackluster. So you feel like it's super easy for them to surprise you and like make it good, but like it just doesn't happen.
No surprises,
so
no tricks.
Yeah,
it's kind of sad.
We want to get into this then?
Hey.
Yeah, Battlefield 5 they started off with. They showed some gameplay. Devs came out and talked about it, and then they revealed that there's going to be a Royale mode, which is Battle Royale mode. I literally have nothing to add. This. I'll play this game. It looks good enough, and every game, the only thing I'll add is every multiplayer online game is probably going to have some sort of Royale mode this year because that's the hot thing. So, but it looked fine. If you like those games, good.
To be honest, it's like I said earlier when we were watching, I feel like already when I play Battlefield that I'm playing a Royale mode. The maps are massive, you get access to all the different variety of vehicles, and there's a large player count. So I feel like a Royale mode, I guess that's great. It's going to go from 64 players up another 40 people in there up to 100.
Super easy for them to do.
It's super easy for them to do.
But I feel like it'll be like more arcadey than the kind of. I guess Battlefield has some realism in terms of the way guns work and obviously everything's destructible and all this.
Yeah, but another thing too that they were showcasing was brought back destructible buildings, all that stuff. It was just things we've already seen. Like I said, Bad Company. It wasn't anything super impressive, and again, it just looked like it could be an expansion for Battlefield 1 almost.
Yeah.
So I don't really know how I feel about it.
And the other thing I'll say is because we also talk about this as a conference. I don't want to put people out, but it felt like people were not cringy, but just didn't know what they were saying or a little awkward. Not in the sense I said cringy. It just was it was really slow paced. The people were talking, and I'm not talking about the assaulter person. She was like, oh, I'm a little nervous. Okay, cool. But everything else was just it didn't really. The conference didn't even have a flow to it. Even the stuff I didn't like, it didn't have a flow. It was just really choppy and kind of all over the place. And same with Battlefield, they just kind of came this is the game and this is what we're doing. And Royale mode, it's
well, I feel like there was no hype surrounding this conference at all. Battlefield 1, when they dropped that, it had so much excitement surrounding it. They were really hampering it. And then last year again with the DLC that they announced, they gave us a huge demo of it and they just made it this huge thing. And this was just so low-key done. The start of the conference was a brief, quick little trailer or something for it. And it wasn't even that exciting. And
do you think it has anything to do with that they're showing more at Xbox tomorrow? They said that because my only worry is when they did that a few years ago, they showed the exact same trailer that they did at EA when there was Battlefield 1. They showed that and they showed it again at Xbox, which I think maybe was maybe 15 seconds longer. But it was I don't know what we're getting to tomorrow at Xbox, but maybe that's why they're holding out. But I'm gonna say I doubt it. And it's just gonna be more of the same.
And if it is more of the same, then that's such a waste. It just makes me worry. Are all these third-party companies then taking up Xbox's time because Xbox isn't focusing on their exclusive? That's another story we'll get to when we get there. But it just I don't want to see the same stuff we already got at Xbox's conference and have it shouldn't be Xbox that has to hype up this company's product when this is EA's a huge title for them. They should be the ones boosting it up, and it was just so lackluster, and I had no excitement whatsoever for this Battlefield.
Oh yeah, I kind of missed it, so I can't really say much, but I feel like if they showed more as opposed to going for Xbox, they could have just cut out that whole mobile segment, and made it more interesting. I don't know what EA is doing, man.
This is my first time seeing this game. Apparently there was a trailer that dropped a couple weeks ago.
I saw the quick teaser. I don't know if it was a gameplay trailer, though.
No, just it was
Yeah,
just a
okay.
teaser.
Oh, okay, just like
Just
cinematic.
cinematic, yeah.
And yeah, so you mentioned this as well, Travis, that like they're going back to World War II, but Call of Duty just had that with their most recent game.
Sure, yeah.
So yeah, like obviously these first-person shooters kind of get cyclical, where they end up always going back to World War II, and then they'll go to the future again. They'll be back here again perpetually, but the timing of it is just not so great because you're after Call of Duty. It seems like you're late.
It could be like they were already developing it, and then World War II for Call of Duty dropped, and it was just like, oh man, that kind of sucks. But like, you can't really scrap your game at the time.
Yeah, but I think that just goes to show how like unoriginal these ideas
definitely.
really are, right? Like they're not really trying to push the Battlefield series forward at all. It seems
Oh
like
yeah, and like especially like from what I saw, I feel like they were just, we can build upon the Battlefield 1, like what we did with that, and just turn it into World War II to make it easier, as opposed to just totally making like a brand new game where it's more modern. Like I feel like the Battlefield community is kind of divided, where a lot of people like the newer stuff, and then they want that newer stuff, and they're like, please give us the more modern day combat. But then, because they didn't like the World War 1, me personally, I did. So it's definitely divided. I feel like people will be upset either way. But I just feel like it was kind of a lazy move for them to just go to World War II, and I feel like it's not going to help them because of COD, like they just had that World War II.
And the Royale mode, like, COD's doing that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
They're just kind of behind.
COD announced their Royale mode in a much more exciting way. They put out like trailer for it. Like that was just casually dropped.
You know what was weird is they're like, oh, there's Royale mode, and they went to screen and it came into like, it just went Battlefield 5. I think, was it different though?
No, it was the same screen because it's like Dylan said, they just zoomed in.
Okay, well then I was waiting for at least like a logo. EA apparently did not have their graphics ready for this conference because there's a few times where they talked about stuff and didn't pop up on the screen. I was like, what's going on?
And the Unravel like trailer that they were showing, they had to like, you could see
they did like console commands.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Trying to like fix it on the fly. So yeah, very like kind of unrehearsed and as well.
To be honest, sloppy, I feel like something that would have been super cool for them with Battlefield is stop doing the usual like World War 1, 2, like modern day, but maybe do like Battlefield Dystopia or something. Like take that game, that element in your engine, and create your own war and a different kind of like
a cool idea.
Universe. Not well in our universe, but a different kind of story with everything that's going on. Like make it like like with Wolfenstein, or Wolfenstein with the Nazis having taken over. Like Battlefield has the potential to not copy something like that, but create something amazing with their engine.
Yeah, well, there's so much room for creativity. So when you see them just do the same things over and over every year,
and they keep like their same combat system too. Like it would be so easy for them to do that. It's just they're going for the easier route.
That's EA for you.
We already have Battlefield 1942 and all that stuff, but now we're just getting an upgraded, in-depth version of that. I don't know.
It's dicey for dice.
Dicey. Nice. Aye. So
FIFA 19, big reveal, big reveal.
Whoa.
They just for me they rambled on about a bunch of stuff. They had a trophy, and then behind them they had a picture of the exact same trophy. It was a little tomfuckery going on.
Wild.
They announced there's some Russian World Cup that's going on, so that trophy's going into.
It's actually the World Cup of soccer.
Awesome.
Okay. You amateur.
I am an amateur. When did I claim to be some I know all that shit. I know all that shit about soccer, Kirkland.
Strikers.
Well, that's different. That's a real sport. And they had just some downloadable content for FIFA 18. Same thing. Nothing new. If you like FIFA, it looks good. And that went on a little too long, even though I think it was maybe only 5 minutes. Whatever the bickering these two people had, it was not. I was not into it. So the conference is not off to a hot start.
I really have nothing to add on FIFA. Very boring for me. So.
Absolutely not. It's confirmed. That's all I can say.
It's confirmed.
FIFA is a game I don't. If I had the money, I would go and buy it. But my one sports game, I go and buy it every second year is NHL. So that being said, I quite enjoy the FIFA games. It's a game if someone's playing it at their house and I'm invited over, I'll play it. So
I think we talked about this last year. EA, they make NHL, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why is NHL never at these press conferences?
It's definitely at I think the lower echelon of all their sports games.
It's probably because it's Canadian. That's why it's fucking Canucks.
Hockey's massive in the U.S. too.
Well, I know, but I just why? But why? We've been doing this for 3 years now, and they've never had it at their conference. It's weird.
Strange.
I kind of forgot about that, and I feel like it'd be so easy too, because the Stanley Cup just ended. They could totally just build off that hype.
Get Wayne Gretzky out.
Well,
there.
there's more with Madden and
First skate for it,
FIFA, I
first
find
skate.
like story progression and character progression.
Character depression.
Character depression.
Yeah, you
That
just,
would be intense.
you
if, like,
just
your
lost the
character-
Stanley Cup
If you
Finals.
don't like treat him right, you don't do
Yeah.
the workout regimen, like your character actually can get
Yeah.
depressed and it affects his gameplay stats and stuff.
There was a, like, I'm gonna pimp it out. There was a wrestling game that did that back in the day. You got their manager and be like, hey, I haven't got a title shot in a little while. They'd be like unsatisfied. They get mad at you or they get injured. It was like that. Like what you're describing with wrestlers. It was cool.
Wow, wrestling. Changing the gaming landscape.
Yeah.
Bring back GMO 2K. Stop fucking around. We all want it.
We all want it.
The wrestling fans. Oh, legitimately, I haven't bought in a while. They announced that even the game shit. They got my money. GM mode was the fucking best. So.
But yeah, no,
More
the
exciting than
FIFA game, like, it's definitely one that I would love to play at some point. They're such fun games every year. FIFA is just, it's something you can pick up and just have a great time with your friends.
Next was Yarny, the Wolf Order. Good
Mhm.
call out there. No, Unravel 2. I think the biggest thing I thought was cool is I think if you like the first one, this looks like the same. It looks like a cute little game. There's 2-player co-op.
Side scroller puzzle game.
Yeah, and I liked that they did the. You can go play it today. That's always a fun kind of hype moment.
$20
$20. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's cool.
I think if you like that stuff, that's great. It's a game I'll never play because I could spend $20
What if your
elsewhere.
daughter wants to play it?
I've
with
done
you?
something wrong. No, I think that would be a fun little parent-kid game. But it's just like for me, I have no interest as just Travis, the solo gamer, to be like I need to get into Yarny. And they fucking talked about Yarny a bunch. Like
They did.
Like I loved Andrea in this conference, but when she's like Yarny's back, it's like who was asking for him? I don't like he's
That's very
not
true,
not
yeah.
Crash, he's not Spire, like he's not on his level. Like,
No, he's gonna be in the next Smash game, Yarny.
I'd
Playable
down.
character.
Why not? Bring him, bring Crash, bring Banjo. But yeah, look, if you like that, it looked good.
Yeah, like I don't want to say it was a negative point of the conference because there's nothing really wrong with it. It's just I feel like they could have shortened it a little bit just
Yeah.
to make the pacing a little bit better. But
And I feel like the actual demo was not that exciting. I feel like is there not?
I feel like it was a
more
very early point in the game, or the
Yeah.
game doesn't have much depth and is very short, which is
Yeah.
kind of what I'm thinking.
so not a good sign either way.
No.
yeah.
Yep.
I like the art style enough. It's not like the highest quality graphics by any means, but it's still kind of cool. There's stuff going on in the background, so I mean, there's care. It seems like there's a lot of love put into this game, so I respect it for that. But yeah, I just the gameplay to me looked very basic
Yeah.
and simple, and yeah, I just have a creeping suspicion that the game's like very very short. So I don't know. Maybe honestly, it could be a game that I could see myself playing.
Really?
$20, like that's not much. You play like I want to know how long it is though, because if it's like 3 or 4 hours, like a Limbo or something.
I feel like there's other games you would invest your time into before. Like I feel like when you rather play Detroit a bit longer instead of $20
Yeah.
on Yarny. Like
Well,
I
I'm
feel
not
like
gonna go buy it today by any
Yeah.
means,
Okay.
but it's a game. Kirkman said, shows up in the Steam Summer Sale perhaps, so you pick it up.
look out for that GeekVerse review.
Clearly, I'm not too hyped on it, but
No.
I think that it's kind of sad, but that was one of the higher points of the conference in terms of the gameplay, the
That
gameplay
is
quality.
kind of sad, honestly.
and-
For $20 games.
So maybe that's why I'm a little more positive on it, perhaps. But
Probably has a cult following somewhere.
big cult following.
I wanna
Selling
mention-
stadiums.
I want to mention, other than Taylor, everyone has cool socks. I got a Batman sock.
I was just looking and I'm like,
I got astronauts on the moon.
Yeah.
I got
Smart.
those boring
I got
socks.
Jupiter
I
on
left
here,
my
baby.
vendor's one at home for my cereal
Get
box.
outta here.
Underwater World. Worst part of
I
Mario.
really like those socks.
Thank you.
Big time.
We should keep that theme going for E3. Wear some funky socks.
I have a lot of
Taylor,
funky socks.
Well, I'm gonna wear my vendor socks tomorrow.
Do you have Thanos socks?
No, I
Anything
think
to add? I'm
Yeah,
gonna
we're
work
going
on
with
they had Iron Man, Black Panther. I think they had Black Panther and Thanos. The kids ones were better. They
Did
had
you
like
even get Thanos?
I either got Thanos or Iron Man. I can't remember.
I hope you got Thanos. I want some still sick purple socks. Pretty
Free
good.
cereal box loot.
You want to steal his socks?
Oh, I will beat them up.
Beat 'em up.
Yarny the Wolf Order. I think
Go buy your Wolf Order shirt, T-Public.
again I really like the art style actually too. I'll agree with you on that. I think it looks fun. Very very basic. It's not a game that I'm like
Very,
I
very
need
basic.
to play. Like I'm gonna go back and continue my replay of Assassin's Creed Origins before I play this. So,
Saying a lot.
Saying a lot.
thank you Ubisoft.
Taylor, you want to pull your notes because that was when we had some stream issues. So me and Dylan were off running around.
Right.
I know Star Wars.
Yeah, if
but
you watch the watch along, no video for a bit, but we get it back. At
we got
some
audio. Leave Star Wars last. Just throw up the other stuff that happened, and then.
Well, I just wrote down Star Wars. and
Okay, I think
Anthem.
that's all we missed. If we missed anything else, then it wasn't that exciting. So
Sea
yeah,
of
so
Solitude.
Star Wars. No, that happens after Star Wars.
Oh.
Yeah. I just knew there was a part where we were.
We could say the Madden thing, because it's back on PC after a decade, which is pretty cool.
True, and they had
Oh, nice.
they had the esports guys come out, and that was awful. They had
very
this back
awful.
and forth, and it was not good. And
Like
you
every-
could feel
every
the
year it's
crowd
bad,
starting to die. Like it was that, and then it was after as soon as I got to the mobile thing, they were just killing this fucking crowd.
There is their Origins Plus thing that they announced too,
Right,
which is
yeah.
kind of like, I guess, Xbox Game Pass in a sense.
Yeah.
So you just get, I guess, more access to all their
Well, they're
games.
showing off like
and everything.
Arkham. Yeah, I was just like, what is happening here? It wasn't really clear, but it's nothing
Yeah.
I'll be getting. So.
No.
Yeah, so then Star Wars, so the two big things was, we can start off with the new IP that they announced. So obviously you've probably seen this, but give you some context if you're listening to this years from now. They literally go to Andrea, who's in the crowd with one of the developers.
Vince.
He's getting there, guys. Come on. Let him do the setup.
They go to Andrea, who's the host, and then she introduced Vince.
Yeah.
From, yeah, but you completely...
He's cutting the middle
Did you
man.
know his name? Like, did you remember it?
Yes, I was going to
Vines.
get there.
Really?
Anyways, so they're talking to him.
It was
literally-
about this awkward.
Yeah.
It's very-
You're making it worse.
Yeah.
Let's not be that. They literally are just sitting in the crowd, and she's like, "Oh, you got some stuff to talk about that Star Wars game from Respawn." He's like, "Yeah, we do." And then she's like, "You gonna be a Jedi?" And he's like, "Yeah." And like, so you'll hold a lightsaber? Yeah. This is legitimately the conversation. I'm not like embellishing it. And then they're like, "Can you give us the title?" And it said Jedi
Fallen Order.
The Fallen Order, which we have our conspiracy theories that he just picked that right on the spot.
Yeah.
Because this was, and you guys already talked about a bit, but this was the lamest way to roll a game. This gets me not worried about the game because it's just an interaction, but it does, because if this is the way EA is handling a big title like a Star Wars game, so far all we've gotten, excluding Galaxy Heroes, it's just the Battlefront games. And to me, the next Star Wars game should be something huge. For them just to like announce in the crowd, like I said, like they on our watch along, they didn't even have like a fucking logo to throw up of like just something cool, like Star Wars, and show up the font, like do something. But it's just this guy in the crowd, like, oh yeah, and like you'll hopefully play it 2019, and it's just like, or holiday 2019. I don't think so at all, because like what you were saying with Anthem. Anthem premiered last year, and then it's like, oh, it's coming out next year. The fact that they didn't have like an image, anything, to me is like, no.
When does that Star Wars movie come out again?
Yeah. I feel like either it doesn't come out or it's gonna come out and be kind of a crap game. And yeah, I'm not that hyped for this game, because if this is how they're gonna announce it, like this is the official announcement of the title and announcement that we're playing as Jedi and the time period that it's 3 to 4. This is the rollout and this is how it's done. Yeah, my hype is going down. And
Very sad the way they did it.
yeah, they need to, the same way Disney like rebranded after Infinity failed. They're like, okay, we want to take a new route with our Marvel games. Spider-Man's going over there. Avengers going to Crystal Dynamics. They did Telltale. I think Star Wars may need to do that soon and get out of the EA bubble, because Battlefront's not going well, which we'll talk about Battlefront in a second. And this rollout, like, I don't think EA has a good handle on Star Wars. So I think after they have a couple more bombs, they need to find somebody else and start pimping this out to other people, because this was kind of pathetic. So yeah.
Well, yeah, this is the point in the conference where you were really getting the vibes that like they didn't rehearse this at all.
Yeah.
Like,
What should we do?
it didn't seem like this guy knew he was gonna be like part of the show. He just showed up, and like maybe he didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night. He's partying with the boys or something.
He's watching New Japan Dominion. That's why.
He's watching New Japan Dominion, obviously.
Yeah.
And so he just kind of shows up at this conference. He's like, I'm fucking hungover. I just want to chill
Yeah.
out. And then Andrew just comes up to him and says, hey, tell me about the Star Wars game. And yeah, he just picks some title off the top of his ass. And
Fallen Order with the Jedi.
so, I don't know. Very, very strange. Just confusing.
There's a
Right.
part of me that hopes this game does come out and you're not a Jedi, and this whole thing was like, yeah, you're a Jedi, and yeah, you hold a lightsaber, and it's like, oh no, like
It was all
Vince completely
simulation.
fucked up. Yeah.
Vince, dude. The legend of Vince.
Yeah, I just feel like it was a horrible way to do it. Like, if you're gonna even talk about it, you need to, like you said, like show the logo, show something.
Seem
show,
excited.
I guess
show
the one thing we didn't mention
So-
is he said it's in the dark era, so in between episode 3 and 4. So another movie,
Very
another
unique.
thing in that
Yeah,
pocket.
very
Because
unique.
we haven't seen any of that lately.
yeah.
Not like two
TV
movies
shows.
or-
Yeah, nothing.
But like, it was just such a mess. Like you touched on the points. He was just hungover watching the wrestling thing yesterday, and but like, why even mention it if you don't have anything to show for it? Like, for me, I just think like that's such a mind boggle to me.
I think they're trying to do that because their conference has so little. That's them trying to show like we have something, and that will get an IGN article, right? That'll get something where it's like, oh, they announced this, but it's just like, really, it's it. I would take this not at face value. It's just a nothing. It's just a throw. This sounds like literally that Star Wars just came to them like, oh yeah, I used to make games, and they just made up something like yesterday. Like, oh, let's make this game 3 to 4. You're a Jedi. Follow the order. Great. Like, it sounds like they just
It's true.
concocted this game.
Now they're like, damn it, now we have to actually make this game.
Yeah.
We talked about it.
Like, I don't want to be a Jedi, actually.
And Taylor, I know you're negative on this, but I'll still throw to you, when they're talking about hunting Jedi, I feel like that wasn't a huge thing in 3 to 4. And then, okay, they added Rebels with Kanan and Ezra, but it's like, again, we're like adding all these like Jedis in 3 to 4. It's just like, what happened in Order 66? You know, I thought we killed them all, but no, they're still popping around.
No, because when Order 66 happened, there were still thousands of Jedi that were still out there.
Okay.
It wasn't.
There was thousands?
There was a lot of Jedi.
Thousands
still
or
out there.
hundreds?
I'm pretty
It's a
sure.
big universe.
I'd say I'd play hundreds. Thousands of.
I think there's still a good hefty amount.
A good
and
hefty amount.
Yeah, I feel like, don't you feel like if there's thousands, they
This
would have
much.
teamed up to take on the
2 hands.
Empire?
Yeah, but you know, it's like the Obi-Wan kind of in Yoda case. They don't know who else is out there. All they can do is reroute the code and hope that everyone's just gonna
All
go
this
into hiding.
technology, they don't even have like a fucking Jedi app to be like, hey, I'm on Dagobah, like
Snapchat each
Jedi
other.
Tinder.
Jinder.
Yeah.
Jinder, that's what I'll call it.
Jinder. Jinder Mahal. If you get to play as Jinder and just fuck up Jedi all day, he just picks up lightsabers, snaps them in half. Like,
Modern day
Oh,
Maharaj.
that's what I want to see.
That was amazing. No, I think
Best wrestler of
110%.
all time.
I agree that the way they announced this game, like I honestly, I can't imagine like is Disney okay with this? Like
There's rumors they had problems with the Battlefront stuff, and that's why I do feel like there could be whatever their contract is,
issues.
make these games, and then be like, hey, we need to bounce out. Like, and like I don't understand. Like, someone who like is Rocksteady or Naughty Dog, like there's gonna be a big company, I swear, that someone has to love Star Wars in these companies. So some representative would go to somebody and be like, hey, you want to make like an open world, you know, Horizon Zero Dawn version of a Star Wars game? Go do it. Make something great. You know,
it's not even about like the company, you know, even like really loving Star Wars. It's about the company knowing how to properly handle
Yeah, fair
a
enough,
delicate
yeah.
and hugely like fan motivated like franchise.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's
this-
hard, right? You're gonna
it
make
is
people mad no matter what you do.
And that's true. I mean,
Spider-Man's
this
done a good
wasn't,
job though so far, right? And obviously the game has come out quality, but like if that game comes out and does good, like that's the first venture of okay, we're doing this new thing with Marvel games, right? And I know Star Wars is a little iffy right now with their fans, but like I feel like you just need a good game and some, you know.
Well, that's just it. Like Battlefront, it is iffy, and you're riding off of your Last Jedi Steam, so your
And
next
Solo.
thing you're gonna put out like Solo may be a little rocky. But that being said, like if they honestly dropped like a poster or something or a picture at the end of their Battlefront 2 new character reveal or whatever, and it said Star Wars Last Jedi or Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, like
Star Wars Last Jedi the game.
Like,
Fuck.
that would have been
Stupid
like
Force
coming
Awakens.
holiday 2019, and that was it, and that would have been so hyped up. And they eventually later on they dropped some information. Yeah, between episode 3 and 4, like obviously Rebels, as you said, is like near the end of that kind of era, leading up to A New Hope. I'm assuming from what they said with this, the Dark Times, this is literally right after.
yeah.
And I am 100% like the way they revealed it. I hate that. I think it was a joke. But that being said, this story and what this game is going to be, a single-player action adventure, I am 100% down for this. I think it's going to be like really, really cool, and I love 110% canon and story modes that are incorporating new characters and stories in the Star Wars universe. I'm a huge, huge fan and supporter.
You mean like how they
I
have
agree.
movies, TV shows, and then also why not use video games to
to tell
bring some of
stories.
these
I
characters
love
up?
that.
See, but
so much.
I'm not against you on that. It's just like the way this is announced, like, I find no reason to get hyped for this because we don't know anything about it. We don't know if it's going to be like an app. Like, you know?
Yeah,
Like, it
that's-
could just be a
that's
total
true.
flop.
It is true, but then, see, that's why, like, I totally agree. The way they announced everything, I hate that 110%. But then the
You're
part
gonna
of
be
me,
so pissed when this gets revealed as the sequel to Galaxy Heroes.
Heroes Part 2. But like, it's just the fan part of me that loves like is story. Like, I love story-driven kind of games and that sort of stuff and canon stuff. So that's just me
I 100%
getting
agree
excited
with you,
about
though,
that.
yeah.
But that's if I didn't have that as a Star Wars fan, I would. Again, this game would have nothing for me.
Well, here's a question because they're different mediums, so maybe you feel it differently. On our solo review, you were talking about how our spin-off movies should start maybe pivoting and do stuff outside 3 to 4. Don't you not feel this way at least with the game? I'm excited for those things, but with it being 3 to 4, for me, I'll still play it if it's a good game. I get excited, but that to me is a little disappointing. It's still in this time period that we keep tackling, right? Like Rebels does that, Solo does that, Obi-Wan's gonna rumored to do that. Rogue One, Battlefront, like that campaign, and what was her name?
Ironverse,
Yeah, like they're all 3 to 4, and it's still like we're still stuck in this period. Like, does that not, like this? How do you feel with video games as far as being in 3 to 4? Like, wouldn't you want to do something
I don't know. I
else,
feel
or-
like with the Ironversio thing, like that was like after episode 6, between 6 and 7 Star Wars movies. So
Okay, I was wrong there. Yeah,
so
okay, fair enough.
I feel like a lot of this content has been like Empire, like very much like near the end, like leading up to A New Hope, kind of centered, and a lot of this content has been very vague and hardly any, like nothing to do with Jedi really at all between episodes 3 and 4. So I feel like, if we have the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, for example, and then we're getting this game, well, I guess Obi-Wan Kenobi, I don't know what timeline it would be between the 20 years, but I feel like we have been exhausted in so many different aspects. We don't have any Jedi content between this time frame, and that's something I would really, really like really close to the events of Revenge of the Sith. So, I mean, I guess it's up to everyone's interpretation or what everyone really kind of gets excited for or that rubs them the right way. But I feel like, what?
Nothing, just rubbing them the right way.
I feel like for me, they just have to make sure that they have a really, really good story, and it pulls you in. When we get that reveal next year, hopefully, from the audience, that it's
From the audience.
that if they just have to deliver something really, really good, because there's so much awesome story, especially in the comic books right now, of like Jedi stories like after Revenge of the Sith and like what they have to go through, and it's just to take this whole religion and belief system and it's just been annihilated in one day. And to see the post events of that in a game, like it has to be a really damn good story, and that's why I'm excited for it. Unless it's a fucking Galaxy Heroes.
Well said.
And then before, did you want to add on that?
I was just gonna say he's very optimistic towards it, and
Trying to be
I
classic.
appreciate it. But like for me, it's too
It's too
it's a
early.
huge question mark, and I can't.
Yeah.
Even Vince doesn't know.
Even Vince doesn't
Yes.
know what the hell's going on.
And then they talked about Battlefront. They talked about how second time in a row when they talked about the first Battlefront, we made some mistakes, and now again, we.
That was a big theme for them. Like just generally, like we're just trying to make good games.
Yeah.
That's all we want to do.
It sounds so sad. And then, they talk about they're going to do a lot of Clone Wars stuff as far as content. They announced General Grievous, Count Dooku, Obi-Wan, and Anakin Skywalker. My big hang-up was, I think that's all cool, add them all in, give me Mace Windu. I don't know, it was just an odd thing, again, with graphics and whatnot. They only had a picture of Grievous, and they didn't have a picture of any of the other ones. And for me, it's just like an odd thing of like, why is there no picture of Obi-Wan? Why is there no
Seems
picture of
super
Count
easy for
Dooku?
them
Yeah.
to do.
There's
They
a lot
have
of
that.
pictures of them out there.
Well, and that's where it's just like, that's where it's like, have they only actually made Grievous and the rest of them like, oh yeah, those guys are coming, but it's just like, yeah, we're gonna get to it, like, hang on. So I think it's just, whatever's happening with the Star Wars game, they're kind of stumbling along, and I'll log in, I'll play, I'd love to log some hours in this Grievous, I still like that game, and then they said they're rehauling the progression system, but I think it's similar to almost like a No Man's Sky Sea of Thieves, where I think like it has its fan base, and you can't, I don't think Battlefront 2, them saying the Clone Wars or rehauling the progression system, you're like, oh, I'll go fly it now, I think people have decided, yeah, I'm either going to play it or I'm going to stay away from it, so, yeah, I don't know, it's good for them for admitting it, it's a risky move, I don't know, like,
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really interested enough in Battlefront. I don't think much news would really get me to go buy the game now.
Grievous.
I really like Grievous, but
You can just come
Maybe
over and play
Windows.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe Windows.
I'll come over play a couple games as Grievous, and then
We'll just do it on the gauntlet, that's good enough.
Yeah.
I love Star Wars Battlefront 2. I've been a huge supporter of this game.
Defender as well.
A huge defender. I do enjoy the huge overhaul they did with the multiplayer system. I think they've done a great job of trying to bounce back. And I've been waiting so long for some Clone Wars like DLC or expansions.
I think it's pretty cool that they're doing that though.
Absolutely. And
The
if
fact
they're
that Obi-Wan has up in the game yet is a little questionable in my opinion, like, it's Obi-Wan, I feel like that's one of the guys you start with, but,
I'm very excited that we're
Think
getting
so.
4 new heroes in there, and not only that, but we're getting new game modes. They're bringing back Extraction. They're adding a much more like variety of Starfighter game modes, which I love, and then they're adding like game modes like taking down capital ships for Starfighter, stuff like that. I absolutely love. I love the objective-based game modes. They're so much fun. I'm so down to see more Clone Wars stuff come in, more clone customizations, that sort of stuff. just the fact that General Grievous is being put in the game, I love that. Count Dooku, absolutely. Anakin and Obi-Wan, like, I'm just so excited for
I'm
this.
excited to see some gameplay of Geonosis.
Yeah.
That's what they're talking about, right?
Yeah, the
Do you
planet,
think they'll
yeah.
have, what are the little creatures? Geonosians?
Geonosians.
Yeah, I'm excited to see those guys.
Yeah.
They gotta be in it.
Oh yeah. This game is just, it hit a really, really dark low point in the dark times, but it's just, it's rising up. It just keeps bumping up and up and up.
It's not rising up though as far as like them getting sales and stuff. It's just like people are enjoying the game.
People enjoying the game.
That's
Yeah.
important.
But
At the end of the day.
That's what they're there
Yeah.
for.
I love that they just announced, we're starting off with like the Clone Wars on Geonosis, and we're just gonna keep going from there. It just makes me wonder what direction they're gonna take, because we're getting Clone Wars and we're getting these seasons based on the
So we're
movie.
gonna get pod races.
And then
Oh,
Battlefront
sick.
3 next year. So.
Do you feel like they would do a Battlefront 3 next year, or do you feel like they're gonna keep doing out DLC for this game?
Yeah, EA likes to pump out the same games every year, so
I'm gonna
I wouldn't
say
be
no.
surprised.
That's my hard read.
Because I feel like they're gonna transition to this new Jedi Fallen
But that
Order.
game's not gonna be coming out next year, so that's why I'm fine
Yeah.
with saying Battlefront 3 will come
I'm
out.
gonna
And then they'll be
say-
like, oh, 2020 is
When
when
you get this, when you get
Fall.
Battlefront 3, you get a demo to play
Oh, there you go.
whatever it's called.
And the
Fall
demo's
Order.
just of like Vince
Vince
showing
game.
you.
Yeah.
We're still working on it. We just started last month. It's supposed to be out this month.
We're still working on it. 1 month in, it's really rough so far.
Yeah. It's just like
You don't play as Jedis anymore, you play as Chewbacca.
Like, look at this concept art, and it's just like drawings he has in sketchbooks in this game.
On like a napkin.
Yeah, huge advances in this Fallen Order game.
Ay.
Anything else, Star Wars? Are you good?
That's it.
Sea of Solitude, independent game. I have nothing to add.
I like the look of it. It's something new and
Yeah.
original. So
Not as
that's
good as
always nice.
Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Not as good as Spider-Verse, apparently.
Presentation of it,
Yeah.
the lady they brought up, one of the devs or creative director, something like
She
this.
ran up there.
She ran up there. She was pretty nervous, so I give her a break there.
She also has a Skate 4 shirt that we
Yeah.
She had a
Illuminati.
skateboard
we
with
think
a
she's
shirt.
teasing it for next year. So
Yeah, so she's just playing the long con. Really, this game they just brewed up in like a couple hours to have like something fake to throw up.
it's actually when you buy Sea of Solitude, when you boot it up, it's Skate 4. It's like,
Oh,
Dude, that'd
man.
be sick.
That would, yeah.
Well, one of the worst ideas, like financially.
Definitely.
But
yeah, but
it'd be
Bad
for the
marketing.
meme,
because that would really put EA back on the map. Like, wow, look at this revolutionary play. That
you
they
get
just
people
did.
talking about it.
Yeah.
People would be like, why is this game? Why are the game files like? Why does this take so much room on my computer? Like, I thought this was a
It's-
small little indie game.
It's not exactly the same, but when they put out the Fight Club 15th Anniversary Edition on Blu-ray, when you put it in, the menu screen for like 10 seconds is of Drew Barrymore's Never Been Kissed. So they did that on purpose just to fuck with you, so you thought
Oh.
you had the wrong movie for a second. So
That's cool. So EA wouldn't really revolutionize anything
Nope.
been done before. So she was describing the game and I don't know, talking about the concepts behind it, and it seemed really interesting. Like I think it's a real art piece. Like they're trying to go for some things. I get some Shadow of the Colossus kind of vibes from it, which isn't necessarily a good thing for me, but. I don't know, I kind of like what she was talking about. Gameplay wise, I'm not really sure if there was any gameplay. Like, I don't know if those are just like little cinematics that we were seeing or like what the actual game is like. So I'm not really sure what to expect from it, but I like the art style and I
like the look of the characters.
yeah,
The
I
art.
like some weird like concepts going on. So it's a game that I'm gonna keep my eye on for
Definitely,
sure.
me too.
But definitely, I wasn't sold from
Yeah,
this
like
show.
I like my first impressions on it. I know, that, like what was the studio? Do you even know?
I don't know, just some indie
It's
studio.
some indie studio, so the game doesn't look too like finished right now.
No.
I think it looks definitely early, and they didn't really showcase a lot of gameplay, like you said.
Mhm.
I think a lot of the clips that they did show was gameplay. That's just my opinion. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to look at it again. It just looked like
Some
when
simple
they're looking
jumping
through like the
around.
water.
The water, yeah.
Platform
That
sequence.
kind of looked like gameplay to me, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go into that. But I like the look of it. I like the art style. It kind of had a mix of like Wind Waker in there for me.
Yep.
That type of art style, which I love that game. I love the look of that game.
Mm-hmm.
I like the characters, so I'm definitely with you. Where I'm gonna keep an eye out on it. I keep an eye out for it. And but yeah, like I want to see it do good because I love indie games. I love
Yeah.
what they bring to like the gaming world. It's just like these unique ideas.
And good for the studio making it onto EA. Or
Yeah,
EA
totally.
conference at
I mean,
E3.
they didn't have much, so they kind of had to fill up their slots with whatever they could grab.
Yeah, really. There's like any indie devs want to show off their game.
Mobile games, come on, we'll take anyone.
We'll give you like
Vince,
$50.
Still nothing on the Star Wars game. See Assault 2, you're up.
Vince
Yeah.
is like, I'll let you guys know the day of.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have like a bunch of like indie studios in the back just waiting to go on. They're like, all right, this is what we're doing. So see Assault.
We don't know how
drop.
much Vince is gonna
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, like in sports.
If he wants to talk for an hour, we'll let him.
He's a little
Vince.
hungover, so we'll see how long he wants to go.
Yeah.
What a mess.
Sea Solitude, you know, it looked great. I don't know if I'll ever get around to playing it.
It looked great.
Yeah, visually I thought it was very, very, very attractive, very colorful.
Very attractive.
Like you're saying that.
That's true.
I got those
graphically,
compliments at one point.
I'm playing through Wind Waker right now.
Oh,
so
yeah, great
it's,
game.
it is fantastic. Story wise and stuff, I guess I'm interested to know like what exactly the goal and objective is. I guess she said like it's when you're alone you become a monster.
The
Personally,
game's completely based in the real world.
Personally, I've been alone lots of times, and I don't really turn to a monster. I just play video games, so
You're a monster when you play COD. You're like one of those kids that are just swearing.
I do get spicy.
Not when he versus you though.
No, that is
Very humble.
That is very humble. 'Cause that's the men come out to play. That's what happens.
Oh, I meant more like when you said the monster comes out, like this the fact that you haven't
Oh.
beat him, you know. So.
Thanks. Thanks, Travis.
But you know, I
Good
think
controversy.
I
Between
really
the
enjoy
multiple.
seeing these indie developers get really excited and very passionate about their games. I think that's fantastic. It's not something I can say the EA developers had for like Battlefield or anything.
That's true.
But I think
sure.
I think that was I'll give them it was a good highlight of the conference. Even though I won't play this game, I think you know like their passion, excitement for this new IP is I think that's great. So
Mhm.
good for them.
One quick thing, how you said like I'm interested to see where the story goes. I'm interested to see how you said like if you're alone you become a monster, like a psychological twist to like the story.
Yeah.
I love games that are like that. I don't know, just even movies. I just
Mhm.
love anything that has to do with like a psychological twist to it. So I'm excited to see where this goes.
Isolation, despair. We'll see.
Crevices.
Crevices.
I love those crevices.
They showed a quick NBA Live 19, NBA Live 19 teaser. For a second, I did think it was Street because you were saying Street, and I was paying half attention. I was like, "Oh, it is it?" And then
Well, they didn't show like any like on court gameplay. It was all just like in the street. So I guess you're fair to think that.
well, Taylor was in my ear telling me wrong facts.
That prison game. Did they talk about that or anything specific?
I was
about
very confused
No,
about
I
it.
think
they
it
just
said
said
like
trans-
it came out.
Yeah,
Picked up
it set
speed of
no,
March.
and it set the world on fire in March. Remember,
Yeah,
that's what
they
he
said
said.
that.
I don't think it set the world on
A
fire.
Way Out
ladies and
is the
gentlemen.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they
Yeah.
used it to transition. I think he's like, we're proud of this indie, and this is the other indie we're proud. Like I think they
Oh,
used it as a
okay.
stage to go into Sea Assault.
I totally
Oh,
forgot it was
okay.
even on there.
Yeah,
honestly.
it's what they call in the wrestling business putting someone over. So.
Putting someone over.
I guess now we're on to Anthem. So I will start as far as you can go back last year. I really liked the demo they showed this year. I don't think it's gonna be a bad game or anything like this. I think it's just gonna be a solid 7 out of 10. And it's just maybe my preference for me. Even when they showed some of the combat, it was just like they land and then just a lot of the guns out and they're just shooting. They're shooting. To me, it looks like it's a game that's in the Xbox 360, PS3 era. Not even graphically. Like it looks better, but it just doesn't look as pretty as a lot of the other like big titles that are out right now. It doesn't look as exciting for me. It's kind of what I was talking about on the watch long. They just use these words that everyone else. They use a lot of words that I compare to with No Man's Sky. Just like there's these areas you can just explore for hours and it's mysterious and I guess they did stress it's not an MMO. So if it's something that is good and interests me eventually, maybe I'll check out because I'm not a big MMO fan. But yeah, I don't know. And it just looks the whole game for me looks a little dated and there's just nothing for me that's pulling me into play. I know at that point in 2019, I'm sure, well, in February, I would rather play Days Gone or Crackdown. Crackdown just because I would be curious to play, just because who knows what that is. But that's, for me, it's like a Days Gone. They said it's February 22nd, so same day as Days Gone. And I think, it should sell better than Days Gone, because Days Gone has a lot of, like, stinker on. This game doesn't. It got delayed once, but, like, whatever. It looks like it's fine. It looks like they're along. And from a conference standpoint, I liked the package they presented in. So yeah, it looks like some people like the game. Just not anything I'm gonna be dropping $80 on. I guess that's the other thing for me.
Right.
Too much. Yeah.
I think I feel like graphically last year like really high quality kind of
They
like
look
quite
better,
fidelity. It really blew me away. This demo. I think it kind of started out weird because they had like the same series of clips and they played it like 3 times over.
And they were
I
like
was like,
concept
this is-
art. They kept showing that volcano or whatever.
Yeah, and it was like really confusing, but then eventually they actually got to like a full gameplay reveal. But I thought it was a overall like a pretty good segment for Anthem, because they started out in talking with, you know, some of the devs. They had like a writer, and then
Vince. No.
they had Vince.
Just come back. No,
I think
get off the
one of the guys
stage.
was like a creative director or something. I don't know. I'm not sure who they all were.
One guy
but-
was a general manager of BioWare too. So.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, real mix, and they kind of talked about like a couple things that interested me is one, I feel like the trailer from last year, from what I remember, I haven't watched it recently, but from what I remember, it was like very barren and isolated world. Like I just thought you are kind of in, maybe you're on like some off planet where there isn't life, but I was kind of surprised to see in this trailer that there's like little towns or cities. I don't know if they're underground or something. So I'm really curious from a gameplay perspective, because all that stuff was cinematic. I'm really curious how much, because they talked about the world building a lot and how much detail they're putting into making like this new kind of world, and how they built it from scratch, you know, after making Mass Effect. And that stuff really interests me, but it has to be done well, and that it's always difficult for that to happen in games. Like that's one problem I have with Horizon is you can walk through all these towns and there's people walking around and stuff, but you can't really like talk to anyone, and like I don't know, sometimes it doesn't feel all that real. So I don't know, I'm curious what those aspects of the game will be. And then like the gameplay of it in terms of like the combat and gunfights, I have to agree with Travis, like it was kind of basic. There was a cool couple moments, one where it was like a giant, like a Titan or something, and he shot like a bunch of rockets into him, took him out.
Yeah, that was cool.
And I like the teamwork aspect of it. You know, you have 4 classes, each one of them has their specialized roles, like the classic, you know, the tank, there's gonna be like some like mage character, crowd control perhaps, you know, like all these things, like maybe like a hacker or something, I don't know. But I like those things, and I like what they showed in the trailer for that stuff, gameplay wise. But honestly, I was let down a little bit by the combat that they did show. I wanted to see a little bit more, just like some more depth from it at least. The landscapes and stuff are really beautiful. I like that. Just like the world that it's in, and the caves and stuff, and also, you know, the overworld, very like Kirkland was saying, like it's very grand, like very tall, and that fits considering that every character looks like you have a jetpack and you're flying around and stuff like that. So I'm curious as well if there's other types of environments, or if it's kind of more what we've seen so far. So we'll see. And I don't know, like in terms of gameplay, like obviously they're talking about trying to combine like story and like a multiplayer experience, but not to dumb down either of those, make them both stand up strong on their own. But they didn't really get into a whole lot of detail, kind of what you're saying there, Travis. Like they kind of just mentioned it and didn't go a whole lot into it. So
they stressed that like you don't have to play the online to get the full single player experience, but that was about it. And maybe it's in this world, it's like, okay, I want to take that to work, but it's just so many times where people say like, oh, you can have a full experience.
Yeah,
it's like, no, you
that's the
can't
thing.
really,
Like, there's a whole bunch of little tidbits in there, and then so if all those things really are brought together, and there is like a really good story, really good dynamics between like, you know, multiplayer gameplay, good combat, and like a really well designed world. If all those things are really brought together in a cohesive way, then this could be a really outstanding game. But so far, it's just a lot of like little tidbits for me. So I'm not sold yet, but it still is on my radar, and I'm curious. And yeah, like I'll definitely be watching more and more of this game, because I could see myself purchasing it if those things I'm interested in kind of get fleshed out and I see more of those. But just off of what we've seen so far, I wouldn't just like go out and buy it.
Not pre-ordering now.
No, I'm definitely not pre-ordering it.
Gotta get the Vince skin. You know?
Gotta get the Vince skin.
Exclusive Vince skin.
But also one more thing I like that they said no loot boxes. There's no you know exactly what you're getting. You can buy aesthetic stuff, but nothing that's pay to win and stuff. So
which is good, because I feel like we're
that.
kind of in that era of like a lot of loot boxes out these days. Anything else?
No, go ahead.
I like comparing it to last year. I liked that we kind of got more. Like, did we get gameplay last year? I don't even remember.
It was gameplay shown in the cinematic.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
Very
I like that they're showing off like the different classes and stuff like that. Me and Taylor were kind of mentioning how it feels like that Destiny that we didn't get. Where yeah, exactly. Where it's like, I know a lot of people like the Destiny because it's like the MMO and you can just log hundreds of hours into it, just like go log in and shoot things. But like this one seems like you don't need to grind to play. Like, you know, like it's more casual, more single player experiences, which is the type of game that I'm more interested and inclined to play. just going to like the segment itself, I really like how they brought out like the developers and they kind of just talked a little bit about it. Did like the Twitter Q&A, which
good questions,
could have been
good answers.
Yeah, no, totally. And like
a lot
like
of
you
times
said,
they just kind of dance around and don't really answer anything.
no, totally. But like you said, like it could have been staged, but I don't care about that.
Oh, it was
like,
definitely staged.
Yeah, like
yeah.
it's good questions that they're talking about. It was a good little session for that, and like I feel like the whole pacing of the segment was pretty well done. Like it didn't seem like, okay, let's just move on with this. How they were showing like the pre-alpha photos, I feel like the reason why they were showing that off so much is they wanted to just give you the idea of what the world kind of like feels like and looks like.
I'm fine with that. It's just that they showed the same one 3 times.
That's fair. But like while they were doing that, they were also just answering like questions and talking about it, which I don't know. I don't take any negative points from it. I don't know. Like the whole cinematics, I wasn't that like blown away from. Just like I don't know. There was like one cinematic where they were talking to this one guy who's like kind of telling you what you're gonna be doing, and like I feel like that was kind of old gen.
Yeah.
Like not.
I guess I didn't get the vibe too when they talk about the single campaign, and maybe Taylor, you'll know this. Like, what is the actual story of this game? You know, like what am I supposed to be doing? Because I feel like that's what a cinematic trailer is supposed to do. At least tell me, okay, this is you're doing this to this. You know, like Last of Us, you're trying to survive. Horizon Zero Dawn, you're gonna take all these dinosaurs. I don't know what the storyline is for this. So either to me, it's like they didn't do a good job of showing that, or that's where it gives me the red flag. Like, oh, there's not too much of like a deep solo campaign. And the guy on this cast, I feel like that's like I don't play really any online games. I played Friday 13th. That's about it. Like I'm always about the solo campaign. For this, it's just like, oh, it's a great story of adventure and you know. Teamwork, and it's like, okay. I do a story of teamwork every week.
Do you know if there's plot points? Not really.
The main thing they just highlighted was just the fact that the gods over there were left all their equipment on the planet, and it's just unfinished, this world, and so you're out there just with your crew, and you're just trying to keep your people safe and keep trying to expand and survive.
But I didn't get that survival vibe from this. Like I did, but everyone seems like pretty chippy in these camps. Like they're dancing around. Like if it's like, oh, we're like trying to survive. Like I would wish they'd go into this like camp where people are like really down and out. Like, but they look like they're fine with their lives.
Do you have anything else you're gonna add?
Yeah, I was gonna carry on.
That's something I'll piggyback on what you said, Travis.
You can go ahead. I'm kind of dying over here.
You go.
Okay.
Wow, you just let him die. I'm trying to die. No, you go. You go.
I'm dying.
Go on.
Yeah.
No, you go.
So yeah, just talk about like the world in general, like how you mentioned, or you mentioned that I mentioned, just like the grand scale of the world. I really like the vertical aspect and how they implement the jetpacks. I'm not so sure like if you go higher up, is there more just like things to explore, or is it just like there's
Cut
only
off
stuff?
when you're just flying against it.
Yeah.
It's the highest invisible wall I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I don't know. I like that, but I also am curious as to if there's different areas of the world. It's not just one jungle. You know.
Yeah.
So and I agree with you how it's definitely not a day one purchase for me. I need to see like actual gameplay of what this game's like. I want to see reviews. Unfortunately, I won't be doing a review for this one because I won't be getting a day one. Cause I don't know. Right now I'm kind of on the fence because it had a lot of things that I liked. The combat I wasn't definitely sold on. Like how you two mentioned, it kind of looked a little bit stale and boring.
That's what I was asking you during the watch along. Like, was there melee or fighting? Because like
exactly.
I wasn't sure. Because like you pointed, out, there was some cool like when he's flying, he shoots the missile out.
Yeah.
Like most of it, they just planted and they're just standing there shooting, and I was like, oh, okay. Like
yeah, like there's a couple things that were definitely pretty cool for me to see, like the like the rockets coming out of it. That was cool, and like targeting different targets. That was awesome. The one character that kind of stood up for me was like the mage guy. How he kind of
Storm.
Yeah, Storm. He kind of like warped around, but then again, he just like had a gun shooting. And have they ever talked on like if there's a skill tree and stuff? I'm sure they.
There probably is.
There would have. I think there would. If there's a
Pretty
class
classic
system,
AAA
it's
game
usually
and
should
shit.
a skill tree with that.
You hope so at least. So.
I'll tweet at Vince and see what's.
Vince.
Leave me alone. I don't know anything with this game.
So yeah, I'm definitely excited to see kind of where the skill trees are. If it's like 6 skills that you unlock, or if it's like a huge like skill tree that you actually have to like plan. Because I feel like a lot of RPGs these days, if you think to like even just Skyrim in general, like it's super like not hardcore RPG like what it was back in the day, where you actually have to plan out your routes, and you can't like go this way if you invest your skills this way. Like you really have to think about it. Where nowadays you can just do it all, and it's just like there's not much like thought process that goes into this. I feel like this
Well,
game.
it's unfortunate. A lot of games just kind of throw it in there like unnecessarily without much thought. Like I think that was Horizon Dawn had that as well. Like it was very unnecessary, not really planned out how they did the skill tree. It seemed kind of unnecessary.
Yeah, because like for me personally,
I don't like the way Skyrim did it.
Yeah.
Obviously from the Oblivion Morrowind background.
Totally, and like I'm a fan
But it's
of those
the
hardcore
AAA.
RPGs.
It's the AAA. Like it's one of the hot things to do right now.
And they're trying to, like, I understand why they're doing this, because they're trying to get everyone involved, where it's like, you don't have to put much thought process in, you can just, like, get this game and you can do whatever you want with it.
Right, it's easy.
Yeah,
easy,
exactly.
Yeah.
Which is kind of unfortunate, but that's not really tied to this game, it's just the
AAA games.
It's just the AAA games in general. So yeah, and then I don't really have too much more to add, other than I just want to see more what this game is. I want to see kind of what the story details. And
there's no romances in the game.
Oh man, I'm out. I'm
Vince,
out.
what is this?
I'm out. I want to marry someone in this game, like Fable.
Like Fable. Bring back Fable.
Maybe tomorrow.
Is that EA? Fable?
Xbox.
Oh,
Lionhead
Microsoft.
Studios.
There's rumors about it, so maybe tomorrow.
Oh man.
GeekVerse podcast YouTube channel.
Rumors, man, I'd be stoked.
I'm putting them out now.
Oh, one quick thing. Sorry. In the last gameplay trailer, there was like a storm or something happening, wasn't there? They didn't even show anything in this one.
No, but that was more
They
like
talked
the
about it
concept
a lot,
art.
I
If
think.
you remember the concept art imaging, it looked like this massive storm.
I just remember like one time they're like running through the forest and there's just this huge storm going on. That's just like.
Well, that is something they talked about. Was there's a lot of different like weather dynamics taking effect, like reshaping the map a little bit and like affecting the landscape. So
because
cool.
last year I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. Kind of to piggyback on what you were saying how like the people seem chipper and everything. I feel like this game is like a combination of Titanfall, Destiny, and Borderlands. I feel like they take
Not for me.
No? I feel like certain mechanics from Borderlands and like and things were taken from that, you could say, and like I feel like it's like implemented in this a little bit, and then same with Destiny and Titanfall. Again, it just feels like there's certain gameplay things taken from each different thing, like whether it's like the guns or the melee like being limited to certain classes or something like that, like with Borderlands, or just
I see the Borderlands comparison.
Yeah, and like ability usage like Destiny with the javelins in here, and the same way the weapon capabilities, like when he shoots that giant Titan. I feel like that's something again taken from almost like Titanfall, like different aspects that were combined into this, and I love that. I love all three of those except for one I traded back because it didn't do it for me in the end. But this game, for me, no matter what, I know at some point in my life I'm gonna spend $90 on a video game, and at that time I don't know.
Let him keep going.
Okay. Actually, no, because he interrupted me with the Vince thing, so I gotta interrupt on that one. I have a question.
But
at one point in your life, you're gonna spend $90 on.
Most games are $89 now when you buy. Like Jurassic
Canada
World
dollars,
Evolution.
not
I
so
know.
good.
Okay,
$89.99.
I guess still tell me where you're going.
Well, I feel like I know. At this point, I'm not
like
gonna get Days Gone at that date because I'm not a PlayStation owner. But like,
Crackdown 3
I'm not gonna get Crackdown.
coming out February.
I'm not
Why
gonna
not?
Crackdown.
I need you to be that guy that buys Crackdown so I can try.
And here's the guy who talks about talk about supporting Xbox and exclusives.
I'll support Xbox, but non-exclusive I don't want to play.
That's supporting them, you know.
Yeah, but I want to support them with something I want to play.
Such as Fable coming tomorrow. Anyway, go on.
So I know at some point I'm gonna drop $90 on a video game. So I mean, that being said, like this is gonna be a day one purchase for me because I mean it's doing a lot that I'm very very happy with. I'm excited, and me being who I am, I don't want to sit around and wait on seeing other people play the game, that sort of thing. This game has excited me enough that I want to be one of those people that gets to experience it right away.
I definitely
get involved with it. And put out like a review for it too. Like I want to experience this game right away and what it has to offer. So that being said, like if it ends up being a game I don't like or whatever, I know I can sell or trade it back in, and I'm not gonna lose any sleep over it whatsoever because I know at that point another game will come out that I can spend that money on that I get back for trading it in. So I'm just I am excited.
So
for
you're
this.
already like
Day
gonna
one.
pre-order it.
Well, when they announced it last E3, I went to EB Games, like, can I pre-order Anthem? They're like, what's that? I'm like, oh, didn't you watch E3? It's like, no, I'm sorry, we don't have
I
enough
just work
system.
here, dude.
Yeah. Fuck video games, man.
So so you don't feel like you need to
Rant.
see a little bit more before like pre-ordering.
No, everything I see is just gonna be like more cherry on top for me.
What if they
basically.
release this cinematic of the characters just completely trashing Star Wars and everything? It's like, man, remember those Star Wars movies they made back? Yeah, those things fucking suck. Like, who played those? Like, the characters.
We had a Star Wars marathon and skip the first thing.
Yeah. What if they put that out?
As like DLC or?
No, that's in the story. The main character fucking hates Star Wars.
I can overlook
That's
a little
actually
bit
not
of
a bad
story.
idea, like for a character.
You overlook for the
I
story.
can,
Just a little
I can
one-liners,
overlook a
just
little
shit
bit of
like-
story for the experience because when they showed the gameplay here, when that score clicked in and he's flying his Colossus Titan and he's superhero lands, he's going out, I'm thinking, you know, I'm just gonna have a big smile on my face. I'm gonna be with 3 other Xbox fanboys. We're gonna be like, let's fucking do this.
Yeah, it's
Let's go
such an
fuck
Xbox
these guys
fan.
up.
That's why another thing you have to remember too. He's a big fan. He's a big fan of big. He's a big fan of guys in like big metal suits or big metal guys.
Badass.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, Transformers. This.
Those Transformers
Halo,
aren't guys
like-
in big metal suits.
I
though.
said that, or I said big metal guys.
Taylor, have you played any of the Mass Effect games? Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
Interesting.
That is something I've actually really been upset with. That at the time,
Well, I think all of us were like, hey, Andromeda's a chance to jump into the series, but then
Yeah.
the game just
no,
terrible.
I with
So you don't buy day one.
That's funny.
Mass Effect, I was at the time like for me when I was in high school, it was either you're a fan of like really on the Halo side or the Mass Effect side.
Guys in
Big
armored
suits.
suits. And Mass Effect, he was in his
Just
Shepard
dudes
didn't have a big
working
enough
out in the
suit.
hallway.
Yeah.
I was definitely
Go
on the
Xbox.
I was definitely on the Halo
Fuck yeah,
side,
bro.
so but like
teraflops.
you know I'm all about like. I'm gonna be popping in my Anthem disc. I'm gonna have my Mountain Dew and my
Yeah, it's an-
my
Doritos.
my Doritos.
Give me the Doritos, Dad. Come on.
So I don't know, like it's gonna be a great time. It's obviously it's a day one purchase for me. I hope there's some good pre-order bonuses. I can't wait to see which of my Xbox friends are gonna be chiming in to play this with me. I cannot wait to see what this game has in store, like for the customization options, because
I haven't pre-ordered a game in years. Random thought.
I pre-ordered Detroit.
Anyway.
there pre-ordering games, you get some good incentives and bonuses, but they end up just giving you those bonuses later on. After like 2 months into the owning the game, I find like, oh, here, we give it to you for free with the season's pass.
No,
Spider-Man.
Not exactly.
Usually. And plus, pre-order bonuses aren't even that cool anymore.
The reason I pre-ordered Detroit is because I got Heavy Rain
Heavy
the full
Rain.
game remastered.
That's a very good pre-order
Yeah,
bonus.
that's why I pre-ordered it.
Absolutely.
That is a great idea. And I
Like-
definitely should have.
Like stuff like with like Assassin's Creed back in the day with Revelations, like depending where you pre-order, like Best Buy or EB Games, you get different characters you can use in multiplayer, which is a cool incentive. But now it's like Jurassic World. Here's a couple like skins for your Jeeps.
I think that's what they say.
They're just green.
Cheap skins.
It's green.
I've seen a couple Jurassic Park Jeeps around town. I don't know if you guys
I have too.
Yeah.
They added to Rocket League too. The Jurassic Park
Really?
Jeep is
Really?
in Rocket League.
That's
yeah.
amazing.
It's
That's
fantastic.
I
amazing.
play that game. So
Rocket
much.
League is sick.
I love it.
We didn't talk about this in the cast, but on our watch along, we were suggesting that FIFA should put out a mode called Rocket FIFA, and they play like as humans, but it's like Rocket League, so they have jetpacks.
I don't condone the name Rocket FIFA. I think that's a really
Yeah,
bad
he
name.
does. Yeah, he does. Yeah, well, Rocket League's not a great name. So
I
and
think
stuff
Rocket
like
League's
I think Rocket
sweet.
you know
League's
how
sick.
Rocket League when the cards you can smash through someone and just destroy them, but you could do that with people. So smash through someone just like big blood and volume.
Soccer
parts.
players with jetpacks.
Yeah,
That'd be really difficult because the ball's a lot smaller. So it's
make the ball still big. Make it
Beach
just
ball.
as big.
And their heads
yeah,
big.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you know that ball
jetpack.
like
can do it.
GoldenEye style.
Yeah.
like-
but if you get too close to Rocket League, boom, you're getting hit with the copyright claim.
No, but
lawsuit,
the
full
partnership.
story.
Partnership. You know?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Rocket League.
Rocket League's bigger than FIFA, dude.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. But
Right there.
Rocket League's all in partnerships. They sponsor WWE all the time.
How many times do you? Anyway.
How many times what? I
I feel like I just see like Rocket League ads and commercials like on TV and stuff.
guess you don't have a different definition
Like
of
FIFA
bigger. I
or
could say it's more
football.
popular than FIFA right now, but I think overall the scope of like FIFA, like what's gonna be around probably in 10 years, FIFA will probably still be doing FIFA 2020, where Rocket League could be like, oh yeah, that was a cool game in the 2016.
The old 2015 era.
That was cool enough for me. Play my anthem. Little Jimmy's back, ladies and
Little
gentlemen,
Jimmy.
with all his neck problems and everything.
Sure,
Little
little
Jimmy's
Jimmy.
gonna love anthem.
He's got no
He
neck.
is gonna
That's
have
his
them.
game.
No
yeah.
neck, no problem.
Yeah.
I'll play with
That's where all
little
the
Jimmy.
problems are formed.
What did you want to say?
I'll play Anthem with little Jimmy.
You didn't say that first. You said, I'm gonna play with little Jimmy.
Oh no.
Oh no, Vulture Sam.
Look at you.
One thing I want to shout out, if they have cross-platform for Anthem, I'll be totally hyped because I've been wanting to play games with Taylor for so long, but
Yeah.
he'll never jump over to
Fuck,
PS4.
I'd join
never
you
jump
guys.
over
to
That's
Xbox.
like
Yeah.
the first playthrough. That'd be sick.
PS4.
Or I could just be in the middle and actually play Overwatch with you.
Or you could just.
No shit. The game you
Or you could
bought.
buy a PS4.
You
buy
sent me a
PS4,
Snapchat. Oh, opening loot box. I'm like, you have Overwatch? I'm gonna add you. This is gonna be so fun.
Taylor, you can.
Not once has he played with me. Not once.
Double XP with
Taylor, you
Jimmy,
can say all you want about with PS4, but you know, come time September and Spider-Man's coming out. That's gonna be the closest you've ever gone to buying a PS4. You know, you're gonna see us playing that Spider-Man game.
I'm
And you're gonna
so
want
hyped
to get
for
in on
Spider-Man.
that.
Good for you.
He knows
Oh.
it though. Wow.
Wow.
Just saying, there'll be some good deals.
Gears of War 5.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
Halo 6. Come on, Xbox.
See, it's like every time there's an Xbox exclusive, it's like an Xbox
It's just
that
the
they
same.
already had
It's just
before.
the same.
Yeah,
I want
exactly.
2 cars on the stage this
It's
time.
just another Transformers, another Fast and Furious. It's that. It's just like, oh, more of the same.
Hold up. Oh, sorry, never mind.
Hold up.
I'll lay
Hold up.
I'll lay it for tomorrow because it's Xbox.
Okay.
Is Superman Xbox?
Well, no, the rumor is
There's
because we can
rumors.
tell there's rumors and people. It's been a debate the whole week if these leaks are real or not. Rocksteady
Many
made
leaks for
Arkham.
C3.
Yeah, Rocksteady made Arkham. It's been rumored for years that they're making a Superman game, and people are just saying that that's where they may release it. Like it's not Xbox. Well, who knows? It's not as of right now. It'll be Xbox exclusive, but they're looks like they might get the big reveal of the Superman game. Like once again, it's not proven, but I hope there's a Superman game. It'd be great.
I think that'd be cool. Yeah.
I love flying around, so
Flying about.
that'll be my fuck Anthem. I'll be Superman. I can fuck all those robots up, you know, or javelins, whatever they're called.
Javelins.
Jaguars. Yeah.
Jet Jaguars.
Anything else to add on this conference before we give an overall rating of EA's great showing
I
this?
feel like we missed a game. Command and Conquer.
Ooh, we did. Yeah. That has a lot to go with my
Command
final
and Conquer
rating.
Rivals.
Yeah, that was awful.
So for anyone who missed the conference, what they did is showed off this
It
mobile
was
game.
solid 1v1. It was
Yeah,
very
solid,
intense.
Very small. Like there's like 20.
The mid game was a little
So you-
lackluster for me, but the end game was
Late
huge.
game
Yeah.
was sick.
You say mobile? What do you say? Mobile or mobile?
Mobile.
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 Depends on the day.
50-50.
You do mobile?
Yeah,
Depends on the
mobile.
day.
I also do it for sure now because Dark Knight Rises, there's a great line where Bane just says, we're going mobile. It's fantastic.
That is great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Command and Conquer Rivals is the name of this game, and you know they have the classic thing where they bring 2 players up to play in a competitive match. Just very like anti-hype. You know, you're having people coming up to play like mobile game competitive. Like I don't know.
That's the perfect
very-
word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, very lame.
And it went on for a
they
while.
like 2 commentators, and yeah, it went on for probably.
Good
It
7,
felt
8,
like
10
about
minutes.
3 hours.
Yeah.
It was probably about 10 minutes.
It did.
I felt like this was half the conference.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the game looks pretty cool. Like I could see I've been looking for a nice mobile game to have. This could be
That'd
like
be
a fun little one to play. But I think it's much better in like you have a reel with here's a few games, smaller games we have coming out. But that's just showing the state of EA where like
No kidding.
this is like something that they're showing on the big stage. Like
Yeah.
If you're looking for good mobile games, I can hook you up.
Oh,
I know a
no.
lot better
There's a
ones.
rhyme with Jurassic
Star-
Smurf.
There's
Just
Jurassic Park
smash
Builder,
the shit.
Jurassic World Builder. There's Star Wars Commander, which is fantastic.
Star Wars Galaxy Heroes.
Gardenscapes is great.
Gardenscapes.
I'm a Fruit Ninja guy, so that's
You're
It
still
is
on the fruit.
That's like the one game I
The
have.
OG
Yeah.
mobile game.
There's a lot better ones than Rivals and Galaxy of Heroes.
So, I mean, Command and Conquer, possible. Maybe I'll try this one. Who knows? It's out today, is what they said.
Is it?
On
Actually,
the
well,
Google
it's like
Store.
pre-alpha or something, so you can.
Only
I
Google
went.
Store.
I went on the Google Store, and you can. So you can. On the store, you can't download it, but you can like You can like pre-register and like maybe get a beta key or something. I'm not exactly sure what it is. I'll
Classic.
probably look
Beta
into it
keys
just because
crap.
whatever,
I
if I
hear
have some free time. But
Vince is doing the rollout of the game.
fucking
That's why
Vince,
all the
dude. This
problems.
guy always comes crawling back.
There's always like a meme I developed from these conferences. I'm like, today's Vince. I just love it.
I have a feeling Vince is gonna stay the whole weekend. Anytime someone fucks up,
We
oh,
might
that's a Vince
completely
moment.
forget about Vince by tomorrow, though.
Yeah, we'll
This is
see.
possible. So I don't know. This game, it looks okay. But I mean, it's like a small mobile game, so it's kind of weird. And I don't know, because Bethesda, when they showed off Fallout Shelter, like I think that was a really good reveal.
That was the-
cool,
yeah.
and that was like the classic, like, and you can play it right now, and that was
I
was
downloaded
sweet.
it, man.
So
I played
I'm not
that.
sure
I
what
loved
the
that game.
big difference is between like Bethesda showing off. I guess Fallout is a bigger name than Command and Conquer. Command and Conquer's
It was kind of like
popularity has
play
kind
this
of
light
died
way for
out.
Fallout.
And then
year
that's
by
how they
year.
did. They also didn't throw to someone, hey, you want to watch someone play Fallout Shelter for 10 minutes?
Right.
No
It's true.
kidding.
It's all about
No, I
pacing.
don't.
All about
When-
pacing.
When you
Yeah.
revive like an old franchise like that, why take the mobile route? Like really, I mean they
Seriously.
Are you
If
reviving
I-
it though? Like I don't know when the last like full release game has come
Well,
out.
take
if
a
they
look.
came out with a PC brand new
I'll take a look,
Command
guys.
Conquer, I would have been excited. I'm not gonna lie. That would have been the high point of this conference.
Mhm.
But instead, they haven't.
Classic RTS. Yeah, it's interesting because the RTS genre has kind of
I think it was early
died out. It's
2000s.
kind of into the
Died.
MOBA games, right?
That's such an easy
But I
guess.
still have a
That's
big
very
soft
true,
spot
actually.
for the RTS
That's such a
games.
great-
I
Well,
still love StarCraft.
That was my
Well,
first
before
game
you
was
announce
an
it
RTS.
publicly, what are your guys' guess from the last Command and Conquer? I said early 2000s.
What?
What?
No, like 4 or 3 years ago or something.
4 or 3 years? ago?
Really?
Really?
That's my
Wow.
guess.
I was like,
1983. No.
I'm gonna
Shit.
say
Do you want
That's
to
the
take
year Mario came
2001.
out.
I'm gonna say 2001.
So, yeah,
No,
I'll say 2000.
you guys are so
2000
wrong.
I'll say 2003.
I'll say 2005.
2003.
No,
Just to
like 2010, like at the very least.
2010?
Definitely.
I don't think 2010.
2005 is my guess. 2006.
2012.
What?
Oh, wow.
And then
Really?
the game before that was 2010. Dylan
Okay.
was so much closer than you guys.
Like that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like RTS has just like died out. Like people just kind of.
Well,
forget
all the
about
ones I
it.
played were like 2005.
The OG era.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've just kind of lost popularity, but yeah, they're still. I mean, I guess 2012 is about 6 years ago now. It's quite a while ago, so they're due for another
Same
full
year
game
Star
release.
Wars.
But I'm guessing that game didn't sell all that well. I remember seeing them and like they always look cool, but they just don't seem to get like the hype like they
Anti-hype.
StarCraft. Like StarCraft's really the only one that can still get like big hype. I feel
Warcraft
like.
4, man.
Warcraft.
Think about
That's,
Warcraft 4.
that's
Oh.
true. Well, I mean anything Blizzard
Just,
really. That's kind of a different,
Yeah, that's
different coin really. Coin, I don't know, but anyway.
What's that?
Do you guys
What
have
are you
any
waiting
thoughts on
That's
Command
doing
and
Jeff
Conquer?
Golden from Thor Ragnarok.
Okay.
I don't have many thoughts. I think it's just they took way too long for this.
Taylor hated
I
this segment. I don't think I've seen him that mad in an E3
Except for
conference.
Galaxy.
Yeah, this was it's mobile games. You got a big hate on for
It's
those.
just you don't. This is E3. This is the conference, ladies and gentlemen. We don't need
You
huge
would,
segment of mobile games dropped in E3.
if that was a 10-minute Jurassic World one, you would have fucking loved it. So don't say that.
No, honestly, I can outright say this. I would have thrown it into the highlight reel with the other
No.
mobile baloney.
No.
I do
It's-
not want my mobile Jurassic Park builder, Jurassic World builder thrown up and taking up time in this. I want the AAA larger scale titles on my screen.
No.
That's
you
why I'm
always do
watching this. No, 100%. That's
no,
a
it's
fact.
just we were in
It's
the
a
car
waste
the
of
other day
time.
talking about this. Like last week with the Assassin's Creed game, like it's never gonna happen. It's not the game coming out, blah blah blah. And now we're in the car the other day. He's like, yeah, if it's a game, it's actually not that bad. The timing it's a little
I don't remember
spaced
this
out.
conversation
No,
at all.
he's like, it's not in the same calendar year.
That's
So
what
it's
you
like,
need in your dash cam so we can go to the evidence.
I have.
But you're
announced
saying
now, so.
that only applies if I at one point in time said I want to see mobile games on
I'm just
here.
saying this
but based
happened-
on evidence, you guys know I don't like mobile games on E3.
No, it's just similar when you said like, hey, we don't need
It's just
Assassin's
based on
Creed.
assumption.
No, it's just like we don't need Assassin's Creed game in 2019, and now that's happening. Like, oh yeah, we could. It's Origins is a sequel. Yeah, it's not that bad now.
It's just making an assumption.
No,
I mean,
it's-
you got the Fallout Shelter reveal was nice, right? What if there was like a big Nintendo like Pokemon Go thing at E3? Like, don't you think that would be like? It's not just inherently mobile games shouldn't be at E3. It's just how you show it,
True.
and you don't show it by having two fucking random ass dudes come up and play some competitive game.
works pretty
Of,
well.
like this tiny
for,
little.
for me, it's
thing.
different with Pokemon Go because they didn't announce that with E3, but they backed it up by dropping a huge brand new Pokemon title that could correspond and connect with Pokemon Go,
Mhm.
which I think is great. They showed the main juicy content for like the reveal first. So in this case, if they unveiled a whole new Command and Conquer game that could piggyback with their new mobile game rivals, then sure, maybe you're right.
Yeah.
The way that it's presented, absolutely. Then I like that. That's very very cool. But Galaxy Heroes.
Even if they like,
Battlefront.
they have Command and Conquer like in the works and they show like title in like 2019,
And then they
just
come out with
to
this.
hold you over.
Yeah.
Here's a little game, and cool
Just
like
what Fallout
the
did.
thing. You get the score. You get some coins playing this mobile game. You can use them in game.
Yeah.
In the actual full game to get some stuff.
That'd be crazy.
Tie it all together, but yeah,
That's
just,
very
that's just-
odd.
it took-
yeah, because like this is one of those things that is unexpected and it should be surprising and like shocking and people should be talking about, but really it's just gonna
It's
get
like,
brushed
why?
under the rug.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
well, no one's been talking about that. I mean,
We are.
well,
We are.
only right now.
That's because you had 7
But
things for us to
the-
talk about. So.
The only thing we're taking away from
Well, we almost
this is
forgot about it
Vince,
as well.
not frickin'
Goddamn
Command
Vince.
and Conquer.
God damn you, Vince.
What are you doing, Vince?
Give us a real game.
Give us a real Command and
He's
Conquer.
working on it. Jedi: The Falling Order.
The Falling.
Right now he's
No, I'm just changing the title.
Right now he's so stressed. He's like, oh my gosh, man, we gotta get this game going.
We're not ready.
Are you kidding me, Vince? Holiday 2019? Holiday 2019, goddamn!
What if they're like, that? Sorry guys, we can confirm now that was not the real Vince.
He's dead in this guy's trunk. This is
It goes to
Vince.
show when you don't have a teleprompter, EA just falls to
This is
shit.
The
Vance.
teleprompter was behind
Advance.
Vince.
It was
He
behind.
couldn't see it, poor guy.
Overall ratings of this conference.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm giving this 1.5. It's boring. There's nothing for me. The only reason I got a 0.5 instead of 1 is because I thought they presented Anthem well. But other than that, this was a conference that did not need to happen, so 1.5. Pretty bad for me.
Yeah, this is
Pretty boring.
a tricky one for me. I think you guys go first. I guess.
I'm gonna give this one a solid thumbs down out of 10, which
Wow.
equals to
That's-
maybe a 2. No, actually, probably a 0.5.
A 0.5?
0.5.
2.5 or just 0.5? You said
1.25. We'll do that.
Okay.
I want to go a little bit lower than Travis's.
Okay. Okay.
1.75.
Now you're higher than me.
I know.
Okay.
I'm gonna give
Alright,
it.
Vince.
It's out of 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, out
well,
of 5?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm keeping the one. I'm giving the thumbs down out of 5. I'm not
changed.
even giving this one a number.
That's the
I thought it was
same
out of
thing.
10, honestly. So
No, that's too many
Yeah,
variables.
sometimes we just arbitrarily do out of 5.
thumbs down out of 6.
Well, it's out of 5. I'm gonna go.
Kirkland's on his own plan.
I'm gonna go with
Joking,
the with the 2. I'm not gonna pass this. I was bored. I'm giving it these points because like I love Star Wars. The Battlefront is huge. I'm super excited about that. Anthem. I'm very very excited about that. The way they unveiled the new Star Wars, really really shitty. Very disappointed, but is leaving my fandom to just kind of get excited on my own, optimistic that I have for myself. That's not because of EA. That is because I love Star Wars and that's
Vince
for myself.
didn't
So you know, Vince. But yeah.
You know, I think I'm gonna be the guy and just give it a clean, solid 1, and that's it.
Nice.
Reason being because Anthem I think was good and that was like well thought out. Clearly there was some thought behind how they're gonna present that, but then everything else, yeah, that Star Wars game, like, that's not how you do that. Especially in Star Wars State, you need like a good reveal or something.
Definitely.
Command and Conquer, you know, could have been a cool game, but the way they showed it, like, makes me less hyped for it. The sports games always just kind of pass me by, and I mean, I think they're still like they could still make it exciting, but they never do. You know,
Rocket FIFA.
I'm always just waiting for, okay, I see the FIFA logo, and then I'm gonna wait for 5-10 minutes. It'll be off my screen. Cool, we can move on. Like there's nothing that ever grips me about it. And then really, like, where are the other games? Like, this is such a small amount of games for EA, which is supposed to be like, you know, I mean, obviously they're not as big of a publisher as they've
Still,
always been.
though,
They're focusing on
They
the
have the
sports games.
expectations of a big title, right?
Yeah, like
I
they
would
gotta
say
have more
drop
stuff
those.
they're working on than this. Like, show us a little reel with a bunch of games, you know? Like, everything just was kind of flat. Like, even Yarny the Wolf Horde was the game called.
Yarny the
Wolf.
Wolf.
Unravel 2.
Yeah, like, that game looks alright, but once again, like, you know, maybe just show it in a reel with some
Yeah,
other
exactly.
games.
Like that was one of their highest points of this conference.
And that's
Some
not
indie
something- yeah.
$20 game that was released today, and like, come on, EA.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, bad pacing. And so the 1 point that they get is for Anthem and the host, because the host, you know, good
yeah,
host.
she did a good job.
She made like a lot of what would be cringy moments. They're still kind of cringy, but less so.
Yeah,
So she did a
less
good job
She
handling
softened the
it.
blow.
Yeah, and like, you know, maybe she was giving off like fake hype vibes a little bit, but I think she did pretty good.
I know for a
I-
fact
I'm
she's
hard-
actually really hyped for Anthem, so I actually don't know if you're referring to that. I know she's actually super
Just like
hyped
for
about it.
everything, you know, as that's her job is to
Oh, yeah.
The hype guy.
get the crowd roaring and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And
Her
so
world-
I
this crowd
hope they
was
bring her
roaring,
back.
right?
I think she's a good thing for this EA conference. So.
Mhm. Taylor, where can they find the rest of us for the rest of this weekend? We got tomorrow is Xbox and Bethesda, and then Monday Square Enix, Ubisoft, and Sony. So where can they find all that goodness when it all drops?
All that goodness. Well, you guys, especially you, Vince, you can tune in on our Facebook in the search bar, GeekVerse Space Podcast. You'll find so many links and
I just hope he's
titles
freaking
and
out.
stuff.
I'm a fucking meme.
We also have our Marvel like Versus series going on right on Facebook right now. So
Yeah.
you tune in there. You also check that out. Throw
Hot
some
heavy
votes down.
vote right
Yes,
Big
because
vote right
now.
now.
Thanos and Dormammu.
A
Big
little,
battle.
a little update on that. Yes, Captain America won the latest one
Versus
so
Iron
good for him.
Man.
Versus
So
Iron
big
Man.
win by Cap
Yeah.
in round
win.
one.
Fuck
Yeah,
you, Tony
so
Stank.
Round one is coming
Holy.
to
That was a
an
good
end
one.
here soon. We got like a couple contenders, then we're going to round two. So
Because tonight's matchup is Strange versus Rocket and Groot, right? So it's a big one that Dylan's looking forward to.
I'm gonna drop my vote instantly. I'm gonna rally the troops to get Doctor Strange that W.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, go to GeekVersePodcast.com. But more importantly, this week you can go to our social media, Facebook, Twitter, because we'll be updating. Whenever we're live, we're going to be tweeting it out. Sometimes we might be live right before the conference. Sometimes we're live maybe 10, 15 minutes. It's kind of a crapshoot. But yeah, so we do the watch-alongs for all the conferences we're covering, and then a podcast right after. If you can't catch those live, you can go watch the watch-along if you want to later on. That's cool. And then the podcast, if you can't catch it later, you want to listen to that at work, they'll be up right away as quickly as possible. So thank you very much for tuning in to the first conference. Hopefully the rest of the E3 weekend is going to be a bit more juicy and spicy.
I think we're only going up from here. So
I hope so. And if we're going down, then fuck.
wow.
It's going to be...
Last E3.
Yeah, so hopefully it will not be boring.
Later.
Thumbs down at events.
I need some fucking food is what I need.